My apologies,
For what, Alan?
Rabbi. Oh, now I have to switch to another class that I'm heavily participating in at 12:30, but I'll record the last part of this class on a screen record if you don't mind.
Not at all.
It's also, Alan, it's on our Facebook, so you could also lift it off there, but of
Okay.
whatever you want to do.
Thank you. Well, then you'll see my face. You just won't see me.
Happy to see all of you. This is the first of the Joel series I've been able to participate in person on my own, and I'm so glad to be here. We are live on Facebook. Welcome to everybody who either is watching this now or later. And nice to see you, Cantor Schwartz. Welcome. And this is the fourth of four sessions on the Book of Yoel, as you all know. And Rabbi Lazar, I'm going to make you co-host. There you go. Next week, there is no ALI in honor of President's Day. And then at the end of February, another session at Unit 3 of Machloket Matters, the Pardes curriculum, and then a whole new series beginning in March and another one in April and again in May. So more to come on that. And thank you for being here.
Okay, good morning, good afternoon to everyone who's joining us, and even good evening to you, Corinne, in the faraway coast of Africa. What I'd asked folks to do, and now I feel like a teacher in school or a student, was to take a look at the book of Joel and come up with their own connections, because today is less about research, about the academic understanding of the book, and more about, so what does this text actually mean to us reading it in the 21st century? Now, I had professors at Hebrew University that if they said, you know, you've got to prepare this, and there were only a few of us in the class and nobody had prepared, then they would just get up and walk out. So I'm not going to do that, of course, but I am certainly prepared to do something in this direction. But I first want to ask folks, did anybody read through the four chapters of the book of Joel, or remember, no, hold on just a second, and remember what we had done, and want to comment on the kind of things that many of you commented about anyway, because that's just who you are, you're participatory readers. And so what might this book mean to us? A book that was written 2,500 years ago, what might it mean to us? I guess that's the lead-off question. And Alan, did you want to say something? Well,
It tied together better reading all four chapters at once. But it's something that I've seen over and over again in the Nevi'im. It starts with us sinning. It then leads to destruction of the natural resources, our land, a disruption in our temple and civil life. Then we have punishment. The use of the word shame is not always used in prophets. Sometimes we're shamed. That was an interesting catch to me. We have to repent, and then we're saved. We have a plata, so we're not totally destroyed. The last chapter had a very interesting twist to Isaiah's view. We're taking our swords and our plowshares and other farm implements and turning them back into swords and spears. It could substitute for Yonah on Yom Kippur, except that it doesn't have the ending. Yonah has the ending. They did repent, and God didn't destroy them.
So, thank you for the wonder. You just did a wonderful survey of the book right there. I'm going to maybe perhaps part with you on two issues. One was, unlike many other prophets who tell us exactly what we did wrong, here are the people who say, what do we do wrong? There was no specific thing, right? This horrible plague of locusts descends upon the people, and it is so graphic in the description. But what did we do wrong? Was there any kind of tit for tat? Was there, what? So that's one thing. The other thing is that while you're correct that there's a intentional twist on what Isaiah says about undoing that peacemaking effort in the opposite direction, the people of Israel are saved. So it sounds like they must have done tshuva, even though it doesn't show them specifically as repenting. But they must have done something, because the second half of the book changes. Now, who loses out? Of course, it's not a peace on earth kind of kumbaya moment. It's our folks survive, but the others, the ultimate others, the enemies, whoever they might be, they're the ones, and some of them are even named. They're the ones. Now, they're the ones who end up. So now that so either you'll agree or not agree with me on the changes that I made to your survey. But so what does it mean to you, Alan? Where are you in all this? Wherever you're living, I'm guessing on the East Coast, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
Elkins Park.
Elkins Park. Well, yeah, that's okay. You have a interesting synagogue there that looks like Mount Sinai.
You can't daven in it because you're tipped. And now that I have a bad neuropathy, I always feel like I'm falling over. The only place that you can daven is when I've sung on the bima. That's level. Frank Lloyd Wright.
Right,
David?
we're talking about Frank Lloyd Wright's synagogue of Beth Shalom.
Elkins Park. Beth
Yes,
Shalom.
David,
Beth Shalom. Yes.
Susan has her hand up also.
Yeah, just a moment. So just Alan, I was there. I spoke there in the 90s, and it started to rain
It
heavily.
leaks.
and you couldn't hear anything because the rain was pounding on the thing. And all I was thinking of as a former gardener was, this has got excellent drainage, this place, because there's no steps. It all kind of drains down to the bima. Anyway, so give that some thought. Susan, how does this book affect you in your life, would you say?
Well, I was reading it fairly quickly this morning, and suddenly Joel morphed into Al Gore for me. And climate change was what I was thinking about. And then I continued, and the earthquake seemed to be a part of it, asking for the elders and leaders to gather. And what we've been hearing a bit about in the news is that the leaders don't seem to have their act together. But the message that came through to me at the end was personal. As bad as things are, we need to never give up hope that things can change.
Thank you. Great. So we've got climate change. And by the way, Al Gore's Hebrew name must be Yoel, right? Yes. Phil, did you want to say something? Yes.
I will say something, but I didn't have my hand up.
Oh, I thought
Anyway.
I saw some hand motions. So go ahead.
There's an old excuse in England that the dog ate my homework. Have you heard that?
We have the same thing in the United States.
I have done my homework though. I'll tell you the thing that comes through to me from this series of through chapters 1 to 4. It's this swinging to and fro and consternation and people bemused and don't know why. I think there are two aspects to it, which can, for me, in our own times, very painful. And that's the state of our country today. I'm talking about the UK, I'm talking about England. England had a very successful economy, and it was based on cooperation post-war with other European countries. Successful economy, pulls in people from outside because they want to take part, they pay their taxes, but then xenophobia gets a grip and people get really uptight about foreigners and strangers, and that comes across in Yoel. And then they reject the foreigners, and this came out, I think it was early on in chapter 1, I think. They're talking about people who are basically foreigners and what on earth are they doing to us, and always blame the stranger, and it's a terrible thing. And then, well, in contemporary times, this country decided we didn't want anything to do with them. We wanted to build the walls, we wanted to put up the barriers, and not unique to this country, of course. And the result, disaster. The economy has shrunk by 25%. Our trade with our nearest neighbours has shrunk by 25%. We have, well, inflation is everywhere, but it's worse in this country than anywhere else. We're bottom of the economic league of the top 7 wealthy countries. We're in denial. And then you come towards the end of the book and it says, look, you've got to come together. We'll work together. We will share. This is communal sin in modern times. People don't know why this has happened, but these things just creep up on us. We all play our own little part. Climate change is another example, for example. It's like on the freeways, you would call them, everybody traveling at the same speed, no problem. Few people trying to go faster than everybody else, the whole thing grinds to a halt. And everyone blames everyone else. Individually, we've got to change our behavior. As a society, we've got to change our analysis of why things are happening. And thence comes wealth and peace. The climate change feeds into migration, which then aggravates the xenophobes. This is a really difficult position. And sometimes we are like lost sheep. We don't know what's caused it. And we can't see the wood for the tree. So it's pretty tough.
Thank you, Philip. So I kind of heard three, just a moment, Megan, but until now, 3 themes that have come up. Alan kind of saying, well, this comes up all the time, this ongoing cycle of sin and repentance or punishment and repentance, or perhaps yes, perhaps not. The idea of climate change and earthquake, which we can't really assign to climate change, yet we could perhaps to faulty building, the amount of deaths. And then finally, what Susan mentioned is about the elders. And I think I'd like to share with you something later on about the elders as well, that I began with the first meeting that we had. And then finally, what Phil said now about, economic or communalism, this sense of responsibility for one another that certainly comes up. If you remember the color-coded text that I sent out, and you can see part of it today on what we have today as well, there's a lot of emphasis on community. And I'll have something to say about inclusion in a moment as well. Megan.
I did do my homework and I wrote down almost the whole thing. I kept taking notes, but my overall feeling when I read the whole thing together was it emotionally got me. Whoa, this is happening. And I agree with everybody with the climate change, but there's the emotional part of the animals calling out, the every bit of the land, the earth is calling out, the animals are calling out, and I can feel that in my own world, that when there's a fire, that animals losing their homes, or coyotes are walking in my apartment complex here because they don't have any place to go. We've overbuilt. There's all sorts of things, and then there's that wake up. People who have experience, older people. And there's such a lack of dialogue. And I think you've said, Rabbi David, in one of our other classes that I once said Paul was a good, he was a good orator. And you said he's a good connector. And I thought, we don't have those connectors between different parts of our society. There's one thing that really gets me in here, and I can't find where I wrote it down, but where we sold our children, horrible their children are being sold for this and that. And I thought, our children are being sold to our lack of gun control in this country. I have, and then seeing the State of the Union with people with automatic rifle pins on their lapels in our Congress, screaming and yelling, and I'm thinking, and my grandson carries, because his mother's so scared, carries a phone. He's 9 to school in case someone invades his class, he can call. We have sold our children out to our inability to even discuss things with each other. And we've sold the land. I don't know, it really emotionally made me think, I've got to wake up and find some connectors here. So anyway, thank you. That's all.
Well, thank you, Megan. Alan.
Is anyone troubled by the particularistic nature of the ending rather than a universalistic? That does apply with all the divisiveness in our country and in the world. We have a solution that is not an Ezekiel type solution. When everyone comes down to Jerusalem in peace to worship together, we have a solution where we're there and everyone comes down to the valley of judgment.
So basically, you're pointing out this huge difference between what many of us as children of democracies, maybe we'll say it that way, in Western society, have grown up to think, at least in the last few decades, of a win-win solution, win-win future, and the contrast between that and ancient cultures, which we're not alone, which is usually not a win-win. It's a win-lose. We win, they lose, because they're trying to kill us. Let's eat, and we'll party. And it's good that you mentioned before, Alan, Jonah, because of course Jonah is different in this. Jonah and a few other biblical passages and sources speak towards a universalism, which is definitely not here. This is definitely an us against them kind of thing. Years ago, when I first visited Taizé in 2001, the monastery in France that I've been so close with over the years, and they asked me to talk to the younger brothers in formation and to explain to me who I was as a rabbi coming from, at the time, Jerusalem, and what it meant to be born in the United States yet living in Israel. Because for these young folks that have never been exposed to an Israeli or a Jew even, and they're studying to be monks, and they're not locked away as much, they're exposed to the world in Taizé. But so I remember teaching them or doing with them the text of Shir Ma'alot, B'shuv Adonai et Shivat Zion, the psalm that talks about coming back to Zion, the return to Zion, and explaining to them that my discomfort in Israel at the time was that we got to come back, we got to win. The biblical verses are not talking about a win-win situation, but a win-lose. And it's clear to me that somebody is there will be a loser. This is how I felt at the time. I don't feel this way anymore. This was a long time ago, and 20 years ago. And I remember saying, I said, but even if it's a win-lose situation, we have to be gracious in our winning. We have to be merciful, and we are compassionate in our winning. And I don't think that everything is a win-win situation today. I do think, though, that sometimes somebody's going to come out in the bottom, but then the person on the top, that there's got to be a compassion there. There has to be a recognition. I want to make it absolutely clear, we should always be working for win-win solutions, but biblical literature is not that way. And so thanks for bringing up that contrast, Alan. Nobody mentioned today something that Sheila mentioned already last week, and I think Sheila came on, and that is about the pandemic, right? And how many of us feel, or many in society, at least here in the United States, feel the pandemic being this reflecting the pandemic, maybe because our attention has been taken in the meantime by more gun violence, as Megan say, or environmental issues or earthquakes. But I did want to share with you something that we find. If you could go to, if you maybe go to the second page, if we could read this passage together, the text that we sent out. And let's put it in the chat box. Okay, link in the chat box for those that don't have it. In this this really interesting commentary that I found by chance, I'm showing you on screen right now. The commentaries that I have in my library, and I've been blessed with the ability to buy books over the years, or as Sasha, my wife, would say, I've been cursed with the ability to buy books. There's a little bit too many books around the house and in the garage. But I've usually gone towards what reflects the consensus of what's happening in academia as far as biblical studies are concerned. And because I was at this conference in Denver that I spoke to many of you about, and I was browsing around and I came across this particular commentary, and I was looking for commentaries on Joel. And when I opened it up to see exactly what it was, I said, now this is interesting to me because it's entitled, as you can see at the bottom of the first page, a husband and wife team, Joseph Tu Shao and Rosa Ching Shao. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. It's part of the Asia Bible Commentary series. And this was written in 2021. And on the section, a particular section, there's an introduction to the chapter. There's not in the introduction to the book itself, but to the chapter. So perhaps I could ask somebody, would somebody like to read for us from where it says page 13 to 14? Sheila, could you read this? Do you have the text today?
I just need to grab, is it posted in here? Yeah, I'll go.
Yeah, go to
How are
page,
you guys?
right, everybody is great. But this, I'm asking you to read because you actually were the one who brought this up, I think, last week or.
Okay,
one
I
or two
have
weeks.
dancing coming up here. What is this? I got a YouTube.
Oh, sorry, that's.
You want me to Chinese dance? I'm not ready for that, Rabbi.
Hold on. Wow, that's, I don't know what that is, but let's try this.
There we go. All right. Thank you for the
Okay.
opportunity. Where am I growing again? Where am I reading again?
Yeah, hold on just a second. I need to get back. Let's go down to the second page. Who's put it up? Marcia, Madalena?
Oh, there you go.
No, keep going down.
Thank you.
I don't know who's got the page. No, up a bit. There, right there, where it says page 13 to 14.
We must observe what is happening both in our region and in our world in the year 2020. A strange and dangerous coronavirus named COVID-19 caught the global community off guard. It posed a serious threat. It posed serious threat to life and resulted in lockdowns in many cities around the world. Coronaviruses are a family of viruses which cause not only the common cold, but also more severe infections such as severe acute respiratory syndrome, SARS, Middle East respiratory syndrome, MERS. Oh, I didn't know that. And most recently, COVID-19, which first appeared in late 2019 in Wuhan, China, and is transmitted through human-to-human contact. As the date of writing, there were more than 4.1 million cases of COVID-19 and at least 282,000 deaths.
Okay, so I'm going to
How
stop.
low
you at
those
50
numbers
seconds.
seem now, right?
Of course, right. But the interesting thing from my point of view is that a commentary is coming out, which is purportedly an academic commentary still, but it's bringing in the news literally into the commentary. So for me, that's something I didn't grow up in that world of academia in Jerusalem, even though there were political issues. It was very rare for any of our professors to give voice to those things. There was one in particular, Professor Moshe Greenberg of blessed memory, who did, and he was called out for it. It had to do with the war in Lebanon at the time. And so that was interesting. And so those of you who know Jacob Milgram's monumental commentary on the book of Leviticus It's 3 volumes in the Anchor Bible series. It's literally this big. It's 2,000 pages, whatever it is. In one particular paragraph there, he talks about Dror, that is the releasing of slaves at the Jubilee every 50 years, and makes a comment about the civil rights movement. And I said, wow, I never see that. And I think now it's more prevalent to see that, but that's something that was missing for me personally in academia, that I felt that there was a disconnect between what was the text we were sanctifying by learning it and the world out there. Now, we got to be careful, right? Because you can go Michiganer, right? You can go crazy with this, but this struck me right now. And here's somebody, a couple who are publishing a commentary at this very time. That's one thing that struck me. The other thing that struck me, what Sheila said, especially, wow, I didn't know that about Maris or whatever it was. Look at the detail he went into, or they went into, the detail they went into describing this plague. To me, that reflected the details of the next paragraph, which are fed by the plague of locusts. Sheila, you want to go on and read the next paragraph?
Does someone else want to read? Abby,
You scroll down, please. Scroll down a bit. There you go. Thanks.
Around February 2020, swarms of desert locusts devastated crops in pasture lands in Somalia, Kenya, South Sudan, Uganda, and parts of East Africa. The potential for famine and death is a frightening possibility for millions of people in that part of the world. Among migratory pests, desert locusts are the most dangerous. Experts say that the multiple cyclones off Africa's east coast producing heavy rains help the locusts to breed freely. The swarms of desert locusts may look like clouds on the horizon, but as they move closer and closer, instead of the hoped for rain for their crops, farmers are left devastated by the destruction these locusts cause. 1 square kilometer swarm can contain about 40 million locusts. They can consume as much food a day as it takes to feed 35,000 people. Wow. According to experts, the worst is yet to come with the next rainy season, just as farmers get ready to plant, effectively enabling the breeding of a new generation of locusts. These locust swarms, aptly described as being of biblical proportions, recall not only the locust plague from Exodus 10.1 through 20, but also the message of Joel.
Okay, we go back to gallery, please. Thank you. Thanks for reading, Sheila. This was important for me to read at the time when I was preparing, but I kind of held off for this last to talk about it. We often go in our own readings, I find, as a rabbi and as an individual, we go immediately to our own lives. We've seen it in these groups that we've been doing together. We see it all the study we do, the reading we do, the TV we watch, whatever it is. We go to our own lives, and that is natural. That's the way it should be. But I guess what I'm urging here is something that I personally tried to urge in that series we did about the brokenness in America, in North American society with police and other things that we talked about, is to also go beyond ourselves. Beyond ourselves, so that when there is talk about violence, we don't knee-jerk go to anti-Semitism, for instance. We can go to that, and we should go to that, but we also look to see, well, who might have it worse in the world, right? Who might be out there? And I have to say, for me, I knew about locusts. I had shared with you in the past that I experienced a storm of locusts when I was in the army in Israel many, many years ago. But that's silliness compared to what we just read. I mean, this is biblical proportions, like duh. This is like and there's a link on the page here. I think I put a link. Yeah, it's after the section that we'll go back to in Joel in a second. There's a link. I encourage you to go to it, or any other thing. This happens to be from The Guardian, from me, a respected media source. But this is not controversial. There's just a lot of talk with people on the ground in Africa, and this is happening. This is now. This is not once upon a time. This is not a war in the past. It's not the future either. It's not, the Al Gore warning us about the future. This is the here and now in a world that I should say, I know nothing about. I've never been to Africa. I've never, my contact with people from Africa has been extremely limited over the years. And to me, this is a wake-up call. This is my wake-up call for tshuva, for repentance. Now, I don't know what to do about it yet. I need to roll it around, but the first step, I think, I've learned from this couple who wrote this commentary is to reach, to widen your view of the biblical text, and then go back and in the next paragraph they make some suggestions as to how they might understand this in their whole commentary from a Christian point of view, from an Asian Christian point of view. By the way, that too was a wonderful wake up for me. In other words, it's not just about Christianity in the United States. Certainly, I knew that American Christians have a different view, but here's a whole school of Asian Christianity that wants to make this text more meaningful for their own people in the same way that we're doing here, together with Rabbi Marcia and her efforts in Orange County and here in Palm Springs and Oram Bar. How do we make these texts come alive, not just for entertainment, not just for feeling good about being Jewish? That is important. Those two things are important. Not just to assuage our guilt feelings for not learning. Rabbi, well, I really should learn more. I really should come to shul. All things. No. This is about how are we going to be inspired by our ancient text through these connections, not necessarily to do what is written in the book. And here I want to raise up what Alan said before, and not necessarily go with, well, it's only about us and there's winners and losers. We don't care about the others, but how do we lift everybody else together to do exactly not what the book is talking about, how we do tshuva, not just for ourselves, but for humanity. That's kind of my inspiration here. Any comments or questions about that particular point?
I just
Yes,
want
please.
I just wanted to acknowledge how liberating and inspiring this whole conversation has been to me, really what everybody has shared. And I'm just so thrilled that I got to come and listen to this at the heels of your learning together. And I just want to say thank you.
Well, thank you for making it possible, my friend.
Megan,
So,
I think
There-
Megan.
yes,
Yeah,
please,
I
Megan.
just wanted to say there was the passage, I wrote it all down, I can't find it, but of rend your heart, not your clothes. Don't rend your clothes, rend your heart, which is let's take it a little farther than just rending our own clothes and our own grief, and open our hearts, as you say, to the whole world. Because I was watching that YouTube before I came on. I was a little late, and it's devastating. There's so many things, but if you open your heart and you take everyone coming home to Jerusalem, it's, if you take it metaphorically, it could include everyone coming home to some type of connection with what's happening to all different parts of the world. I don't know, it really struck me when I read the whole thing, but rend your heart to me says open your heart. Don't just stay
lovely.
home and rend your clothes. So
What a
anyway,
lovely
that's all.
idea. And for everybody to come to this Jerusalem, which is not the physical Jerusalem, but the place where water, that is that which gives life, flows from. There's some lovely, wonderful ideas here for us to use. So yes, Sheila, please.
I hope I can make this connection relevant. So the reason I was late this morning is I had the opportunity to Zoom into a 9th grade English classroom over at Foothill High School, where 9th graders at 8:30 to 9:30, 9:40 in the morning were having a Socratic dialogue on Romeo and Juliet. And it was set up beautifully. And the main focus of that the students were focusing in on was who's responsible for their deaths, right? it's, what you would expect out of, that. And this one student courageously says, wait a second, they're gone. There's nothing we can do to change that. And every time we read this play, they're going to die at the end. We know it's Shakespeare, we're counting corpses. Why aren't we, and she goes, but the play never goes into what happens after the deaths, what happens to the community, what happens to the families, what happens, and I'm like, this is 9th grade. And many of us are grieving a very tragic loss of dear people who, we don't know the story, but who, for whatever reasons, we believe took their lives over the weekend, an elderly couple, or last week, it was not a 13 and 14-year-old boy and girl, but people in their late 80s and early 90s. And I think that we get so caught up in the media of the blame and this and the that. I'm watching these 9th graders get to this deep level of how does it affect us? And then what do we do about it? I think it merited being about 10 minutes late to our class today because I was so impacted. So when I first came on, Rabbi, the question you said is, how is it we're discussing and dialoguing, and have we cheated our children from that opportunity? And I'm sorry if I missed the context that raised that question, but I was so, and then you raised the question as I come right on, because more than just discussing the text, what I got to observe were students discussing, listening, responding, and with such respect. And it went far beyond an academic process, which is why I love what I do and working with teachers and students. But I was so taken by that because it's just too easy to point fingers, have blame, and then not even want to look at how do we grow and change as individuals and as a community, because the tragedies that we see in, say, Darfur or Somalia, and then right here in our own very backyards. So I just want to thank you for letting me share that. I was very
Absolutely.
moved and inspired. And then thank you for setting up this conversation, clearly tailored for me to be able to step into.
Ria, what would you like to share with us?
So Sheila, the what happens after, what happens to all the community, Romeo and Juliet's community, what happens in our community, and the focus to go into the future. And so that, and we try to do this with the shootings in schools. And what do we do in the future? But we're often caught in the past and do a blame thing and not a repair. So the Tikkun Olam, repairing the world, the repair after catastrophe. And that I love that focus. And I guess if we turn the camera in that direction, what comes out on the film?
Great, thank you, Phil, and then Cantor. Go ahead, Phil.
Thank you. I want to follow up what's just been said. I just made some notes on this. This idea of opening our hearts and not rending our clothes. I think it's worth saying that when it talks about hearts, in its time, they were often talking about using your brains. So this links in with this idea of repentance, repent, which literally means rethink. Just use your brains and rethink about what you're doing, because we can, when we're religiously engaged, we can become inward looking, regardless of what tradition we're from. And we could be feeling good about ourselves for praying for these people who've had the earthquakes, or praying for the hungry and praying that they won't be hungry. That's has a role to a certain extent, but it doesn't feed the hungry. This is about turning this into what I love, the Jewish idea of repairing the world. It's about repair. And it's about saying, it's not a question of praying, just praying for them, pray for them, yes, of course, but help the hungry, feed the hungry, the dispossessed, the homeless, because we're surrounded by them in our own backyards. It's just we choose not to see them. I mean, this is about widening our perspective in our own countries. I was interested in that Middle Eastern respiratory syndrome, MERS, and somebody said, I'd never heard of it. Neither had I. Why didn't we hear about it? Because we're not in the Middle East. We're just focusing on ourselves. We need to rethink, repent, and then do something about it.
Thank you. That's great. Repent. Chazan Schwartz.
Thank you. So I wound up retiring here in southern Alabama after serving a synagogue that is on the edge of a rough area of town on one side and formerly the richest area of town on the other direction, and the synagogue's right on the dividing line. A practical way that was brought home to me on a regular basis is the sheer mass of snorers that would come to the door looking for help, always from the gang-ridden area between us and downtown, never from the wealthy area. But the other thing that occurred to me, looking at the larger picture that's talked about in the book of Joel here, which has, as we mentioned today, some implications where climate change can be behind major natural disasters. I have taken, now that I am no longer working a 50 or 60-hour work week, I've taken to watching on my computer, on either my computer or my phone, the weather a little bit more as it develops in especially the southern half of the Midwest. And I realized that every single winter storm that affects the Midwest is going to have a fairly strong effect on us here in Alabama. And what a way to drive home the lesson. If more people could, just expand their brains that way, what a way to drive the lesson that I know there's some sort of niv ba'anglit, a cliche. What happens in some place doesn't stay in that place. What happens in Missouri is going to affect my weather here 2 days later, all the way in Alabama. Storms move west to east.
Right. Well, that actually proves the saying that what stays in Las Vegas, what happens in Las Vegas stays in Las Vegas, but it's only Las Vegas. Nowhere else.
Okay, so I turned the niv on its head, the cliche on its head. But
yeah, well, we laugh, but of course the Cantor brings up yeah. So taking all these things of how it affects us, and you'll notice that many of us brought it home very, very personally, right? How come I never heard of MERS before? How come, and what can I do? And I look now at the weather thing, so I need to, and the repent. So the I is really important because nothing happens without it being somehow motivated in the I. But I think I'd like to dedicate the last part in a way of hopefulness to much of something that came up right away. And if we could, maybe I'll bring it up on the screen and then we'll have it. Of course, I'm not. Apologies that it's not. Okay. Yes, is that, everybody can see the text, I hope, yes? Yes? Not, okay. So the title of this section is, which goes across the book, for me, is inclusion. And I went to look for who this book addresses and the readers. So much of what we have in biblical literature is addressed to the individual, and it's addressed, of course, to men, and that's come up many times in all of our readings of text in the last few years. It's addressed to kings, to people of power, to priests. But here, it seems to me that we have this lovely, lovely example of inclusiveness or inclusion. And it goes in two kind of ways. One of them is appealing to the people, not just to the elders, and thanks again for bringing Megan. I think you brought up the issue of the elders. That's something that's on the page as well, that from Asian society, Asian American society, how in general Asian society has a healthier respect for elders than I think many of us in our worlds have had or feel. And so it's not just the elders, though, and the inhabitants of all the land. It's the fathers and the children and the next generation. And I'm just going down the colored parts, and I probably missed a few, and all the inhabitants. It's not just it's everybody, right? And all the dwellers of the earth, even. It goes, let everybody be involved in this thing, not just the people, although the text there in verse 2:1 probably only relates to the people of Judah who he's talking to, the Judeans, but still, let all the dwellers of the earth tremble. We can certainly, without too much effort, understand that as entire population of the earth. Gather the people in the congregation, the old and the babes and the sucklings, and the bridegroom and the bride, and all flesh, and the sons and the daughters and the old men. And yes, I mentioned when we were studying chapter 3, that all flesh most probably means, and the commentators debate this, but mostly means really unser, our folks, right? All flesh of our people. But looking at it this way, it seems to go even beyond that, and our young men and even the slaves. Now, I'm not saying this in any way to justify slavery, but let whatever happens here, the pouring out of my spirit, the good stuff, right? This is in the second half of the book where it's the good stuff, happen on everybody. Everybody needs to be lifted up by this experience. And yet, in the second part where I've got the blue motif or the turquoise, it's about responsibility, taking responsibility, inclusion, taking responsibility. I will gather all the nations, my very own people, Israel, among the nations, among themselves, the people of Judah, distant nation, the nations, let all the fighters, all the nations, everybody. Chevra, you're in this together. You're all in this together. And going from the individual, starting with the elders, because that is the focus of this particular prophet, which was pointed out by the Shaul couple who wrote this commentary, and coming from their own Asian experience. We know about Chevra, they say to their people in the Asian Christian world in the United States, we know about this. We know how we feel about elders much more. The first time, I don't know much about Asian culture, but my nephew married a woman from China, and his mother was, of blessed memory, Elise, was from China. And so I was asked to come to the French Riviera to do a very, very fancy wedding when I was living in Tel Aviv. And I went online. What do you do? Like, how can I make this? How can I include over half the people there who were Chinese, literally from China coming in, or were from Chinese roots? And one of the things that I added to the ceremony was, which was a very loosely ceremony, Jewish, it had Jewish themes, but for instance, the groom, he had a bar mitzvah actually here in Palm Springs. He says, David, I want to make a motzi. Can I make a motzi under the chuppah? I said, "Favos nicht," right? So the chazan will identify, why not? So yes, motzi is usually not under a chuppah, but this is what's meaningful for him and connects his two major Jewish occasions in his life. So he made a motzi. But I found that there's a custom, at least in certain Chinese cultures, there's so many, of course, for the bride and the groom to pour tea for their elders, for their parents under the chuppah, or under the ceremony. I said, what a lovely thing you pour. So I had them, the bride and the groom, pour wine for their parents that we were going to bless on afterwards. And maybe that's feeble, maybe that's cheap appropriation. Some people would see it that way. It was my way of trying to incorporate something Chinese, but where was it focused? On the elders. And that's something that a little bit missing. Here in Palm Springs, we got a lot of elders, right? As I like to say, that when people they come to Oramid Bar and they see there's no children, and they're worried about it from the outset, and I'll say to them, I'm sure I've told you this before, I'll say to them, oh, I see you're worried about the future of the Jewish people. Well, here in Palm Springs, the future of the Jewish people is next Tuesday. Let's get to next Tuesday, and then we'll talk about the week after that, right? And so, but on the other hand, the ones looking up to the elders are far away. they're disconnected. They're not living here. They're not in constant contact other than phones and videos and stuff. So it's a challenge, and I'm not, and perhaps I'm saying this more now that I am, now that I have Medicare, that I'm 65. I guess I'm an elder. Until now, I didn't feel I'm an elder. I feel now I'm officially into elderdom. Maybe that's what, but to me, that this idea of inclusion, starting with the elders and moving on, and then responsibility, not just for the stuff that's good, the good stuff that's going to happen, but also for the bad stuff. We are in this together. We all breathe the same air on this earth, and that's kind of what this is where I was going. So Julie, you had said already a half an hour ago or so, or a while ago, shows that there's hope. Indeed, there is hope. So thank you. You were prophetic. You and Joel are the prophets of the hour. And Julie, you just wrote, now I'm sharing with everybody. I'm wondering if this conversation could possibly be shared with non-Jewish clergy. Well, it is. We haven't studied Joel together, but I have. It really depends on where you are. I know Rabbi Marcia is in her own context of interfaith dialogue. She just had a local clergy come to a Seder Tu B'Shvat. I've got my own kind of forum here. But, you know, I hadn't thought of doing this text with them. Very often we get together for lunch or for dinner once a month. And I think I'm going to bring this text to them. I'm not sure that Joel is in maybe you would know, Philip, if you remember that, if Joel is in the lectionary of the readings in the church tradition, and what parts of it are, and what's the context, but that would be an interesting conversation.
And, you know, David, I'm thinking, the Orange County Interfaith Network has been trying to figure out about some opportunities that we could provide broadly across the county. So not in people's jurisdictions like Newport Beach or whatever, but that people could learn together. And it sounds like this 4-session course on Yoel really might be a wonderful, like completely interfaith. You know, we have Zoroastrians and Jains, and, you know, I mean, people would really get a great deal out of this. And so you and I can talk about how we might bring that really to religious leaders of all different stripes, at least anyone who can, and anyone can access it. Doesn't even have to be in Orange County. But so thank you. And what a great suggestion, Julie.
Okay, so one of our prime elders that we look up to here in Palm Springs, his name is Richard Jeffrey, and he's got his hands up.
Yeah, I remember hearing an evangelical pastor talk about the book of Joel, and it was all about, you know, it's interesting you say that people bring the biblical studies to themselves in their own lives, but this particular teaching was all about them. Joel was about them, about, you know, the evangelicals are now the new Israel, and that in the end they're going to be the winners and everybody else is going to be the loser. And so when I read this, it just brought that experience that I had many decades ago back to life for me.
Wow.
Okay, well, if it happens again, you can send them to me, Richard.
Well, maybe the church that Harvey goes to, they this teaching.
Or you can send them to Julie. I think Julie could fill in.
Yeah.
Anyone else? Well, then I will say, and if there are no other further comments, that I have thoroughly enjoyed this 4-part series. Oh, yes, please, Rabbi Marcia.
Okay, as you're winding up, I just want to say to everybody here, Rabbi David will be back. He and I have not yet planned what his next class will be for ALI, but he's, you know, one of our sort of great sort of in-house scholars in residence. It's very exciting. The way these classes work is I say to him, hey, you know, what do you want to teach that you haven't that you'd really like to explore for yourself? And he comes up with something that's always very, you know, meaningful. And because of his great skills in biblical exegesis, there's so much to bring to the table. I want to say to everybody that Rabbi David and I are looking to lead a trip to Israel in November, a very unusual trip to Israel that is really going to be focused on, you know, the relationships between everybody who lives in Israel, all the different communities who consider that land their home. There will be, of course, you know, some classic sites to see and whatnot. But I just wanted to let you know that if that would be interesting to you, to join us, we would love to, have some of the people in this group come with us. And I'm happy to talk to you more about it. There might be some financial aid available if the trip is a little expensive. So all of that information is on the Jewish Collaborative website, and it would be a thrill to make this visit with some of you. And Lisa Armoni will also be going with us, if any of you know Lisa. So a very special trip. Donna's hand is raised.
Yes, I just got the courage to say thank you. I'm a new member here, and I don't know, I followed all of your talk, and I don't think you could possibly know how much you've spoken to several of us here in the assembly today, because we are going through pain and we are going through devastating losses, and we do need to have hope. And and I just appreciate what you've opened up to us, because I think we can talk more. We should talk more. We have to talk more. That's the problem. We're all in our little corners and we're not speaking to each other. And if that could only happen, we could make a better world, right?
Thank you,
Thank
Donna.
you.
Where are you living, Donna?
I live in Orange County. I'm with the Collaborative and
Good.
several other congregations.
Right, and Julie mentioned that she's in Connecticut. Okay, so I've thoroughly enjoyed this because I've wanted to get back to Joel since I was a student in the 80s, and this gave me a wonderful reason, excuse, framework in which to do it. We could have spent more time, but there's other books to study as well. If you have a desire or a suggestion, you can either write to me directly or to Rabbi Marcia. For any of the future, I reserve the right to say, no, I've done that too much, or believe me, I've done it, it's not interesting. I have a lot of answers for different things, but really happy to do so. And what I love most about this is that we took this and we made it ours, we made it holy, we made it sacred, because we took it seriously. We really took it seriously. And that's, is that your hand up, Sheila? Did you want to say something else? Oh, okay. All right then. So sei mir gesund, everybody be well, be healthy, and let's look forward to the hope part of it. Okay. Thank you, Rabbi Marcia, for this opportunity.
Thank you for being our teacher today.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Great set of classes. Cool. We can't wait till you come back.
Thank you, Sylvia. Thank you, Jonathan. Hazen, did you used to live here in California?
No, I've got relatives in California on both my mom's and dad's side of the family, but I've visited many times, and of course, several cantorial colleagues and the conservative movement are out there. But
So that's how you know Marcia, through being cantors?
well, actually, I need to do a little bit more exploring with Marcia to see just where all we go back together. But she's been a part of my Jewish journey for many years, and I love when I'm able to take the time to come into programs that Ali, if I'm pronouncing it the way you guys like to say it, offers. One thing I'm doing in my retirement is trying to finally write a textbook I've been potchking with off and on for years on davening for lay learners and their teachers. So each chapter will have a part that's meant specifically for people who have the courage to get up there and lead, and that the second half for the maven of each chapter, the Hebrew and the Nusach and whatever the structure, will be aimed at professionals who have the responsibility of teaching those people and fill in all the things that would be like over the heads of the primary audience.
So Neil, you
what-
were asking me if this is something that might be an interesting ALI class. You know, first of all, I have a question for both of you. My Zoom just died. Was it only me that dropped off? Did everybody else get to say goodbye and
I
stuff like
think
that?
so. Some people dropped off, I just assumed because they were done, but, yeah. So somebody, I see somebody, wrote it. It was fine for us. Yeah, who knows?
Okay.
But Neil, I was going to say that perhaps you could, if we were to get one of those things that, what's the bottom? What do you call the thing? The text that goes at the bottom of the
Like
screen on CNN?
closed caption?
No, on CNN, that thing that goes, the ticker tape, what is it called? That thing at the bottom?
Ticker tape. I know what you're talking about.
Right. So if we get one that has the weather, then you could watch this more, right? As long as we have the weather going across the bottom.
Yeah, that's right.
Well,
true, David.
my two sons have challenged me to come to do significant work on each of the 4 sections of the book, 1 section a month. And they all want me to move up to where the family's living in Durham. And they know that I've got this gigantic library, 1,000 items of Jewish music, probably at least 7,000 other Jewish books that I've got to find homes for. My excuse for hanging on to it right now is I needed to write my textbook. Not all several thousand, but a significant portion of them for the bibliography, if nothing else. But that's the big job ahead of me. I thought I was going to stay in this house for the rest of my life. It's a big long house with some 40 bookcases in it. I know I'll never own another place like this, so I'm going to have to find homes for some of my library. If either of you have any ideas of any organizations that on the West Coast that would be interested in really a very strong Jewish music collection, and not, for a Chazen, not bad Sfarim collection. Not to mention all the other types of Judaica.
I think that's one of the great challenges now for, first of all, what you might want to do is reach out to the Academy for Jewish Religion, which is because they have the only viable cantorial school on the West Coast. And, it could be a kind of thing where they have a rabbinical school, a chaplaincy school, and a cantorial school. And very different than JTS or HUC, which are long established. And, but I think the answer is to write to all the deans and say, I would love to give to the next generation of Chazonim my books. And, here's what they are. And let me know who wants them. And, I'll send them. And for rabbis too, it sounds like some rabbis could benefit from some of the materials in your library.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's the way to go. And I really think that every rabbi who's unloading their 60-year library that their kids don't want and people don't, have whatever anymore, really need to go that direction. I remember at AJU, which is closing, they're selling the building. There's literally a cart when you walk in, and it's filled with rabbis' legacy libraries that kids can just come take any books they want, but that's not going to even be available anymore. It's kind of disturbing.
I have the good fortune that my eldest is a professional, the only one who's not going to be living in Durham. He's a professional Jewish educator in the suburbs of Chicago, and he lives about 3 blocks away from Anshe Emet, right in the middle of Chicago. So all my duplicates, as I discover that I have duplicates, those are his birthday and Hanukkah gifts and any other occasion I can find to ship him a box of books in between. So like yesterday, I did the conversion that I referred to Rabbi David up in Montgomery, where I've covered for that rabbi who's finally taking some post-COVID vacation. And I discovered a Brown Driver Briggs in their book giveaway collection. So I ran into his office before the conversion candidates came. I said, can I take this? I have a BDB, but I don't think my kid does. This
Yeah.
would be a great gift for him. And he said, sure, because he knows my kid. We're all very active in Cage, and my son and I teach each summer together, one class.
Who was the convert?
I'm trying to remember which of the, I think it was one of the two ladies. Elena, it might have been Elena Self, SELPH, and I have to tell you, my two rabbinical colleagues, one, the host in Montgomery, Rabbi Kramer, and then our friend from Mobile, Rabbi Silberman, they were, as I had predicted, totally impressed with these candidates. And what made it even more sweet is my last pulpit was a Reform synagogue. Of course, it was really I was a fish out of water there, being so traditional. But my 2 out of my last 3 B'nai Mitzvah were the sons of the guy who helped me buy this house and who will a year from now sell this house.
Mm-hmm.
And he and his their stepmother, his second wife, were sitting and having supper with the boys and telling them what they were going to be doing yesterday. And they said, oh my gosh, can we come too? Can we go through the mikveh? So they prepared the same sort of summary, not as long as their parents, but the 2 rabbis asked, can we see their B'nai Mitzvah speech? Because I've been bragging about these 2 boys and their B'nai Mitzvah speeches. Mm-hmm. And I have to tell you, when once all 6 of them were on the road back to Dothan, and I was, kind of closing things up with the 2 rabbis, they both turned to me and said, you told us these were going to be impressive candidates, but this was a very, very special experience. And they particularly, the kid who had written this amazing Bar Mitzvah speech, the way he answered the questions during his turn with the Beit Din, they were like in shock. They'd never heard a 16-year-old talk like that.
Wonderful.
That's great.
So, a lot of nachas yesterday.
I will be in touch with you. I'll call you and we'll talk about a way for you to get some of your teaching in front of some people. Maybe the collaborative has done some things with the CA already, and maybe this could be something we do in partnership with the CA. And I'm just, thank you for coming to this class. I really appreciate it. And maybe you'll come to Machloket Matters in 2 weeks from now.
When I saw that you're doing the Machloket Matters yourself, I said, oh my gosh, I've got to make the time for this.
All right. So David, how about if I give you a call on the phone? Are you comfortable with
Sure.
that? Okay.
Yeah.
I'll see you soon.
Okay. Thanks again for being here, Cantor. Bye-bye.
Okay. Thank you. That was a